Hi there, Shauna here from The Wellness Seeker, and welcome to Monday morning's wellness session, or Monday afternoon's wellness session actually. So today's topic, and I suppose it's not even really a topic, it's more of a mini training session, and it's really about a skill, and it's trying to show you a skill that will actually transform your relationship with yourself, a skill that will help you move from difficult feelings and difficult thoughts and move to a place of clarity, move to a place of healing. It's a skill that has to be taught to everybody in the beginning stages of healing. It's a skill that I believe honestly should be taught in our schools. And it's a skill that's transformed my relationship with me and actually was the beginning of healing for me. So it's a skill that I think is vital to our well-being. So I'm going to try and take you through it today in this tiny mini training. So the skill itself, before we kind of dive into it, I wanted to just check on me and see if any of this sounds familiar. You know, do you find yourself existing? Do you find yourself just kind of getting along, afraid of that big difficult thing coming up? Afraid of that big difficult feeling or that difficult situation that has been driving you mad for years, coming and arresting you? Do you find yourself just existing? Do you find yourself in fear that this is going to come and it's going to destroy your life once again? Do you find yourself reacting? Do you find yourself living kind of month by month, reacting to certain things? Going along about your business and everything being okay, and then this big thing coming and arresting you and being really difficult for you, and then you spent about a week trying to get over it, and then being okay for 2 weeks, and then living in fear that it's going to come back. You see, that was my experience before I learnt this skill, and this skill I know transforms all of that. You see, when we live like that, we're not understanding how we're thinking, how we're feeling, and why we behave the way we behave. And this skill, which is called self-awareness, changes all of that. Now, self-awareness is taught and spoke about actually by many of the big thought leaders all over the world. But it's rarely really kind of dived into. It's kind of kept for the chosen few to understand, or that you have to be in therapy before you understand it. And what I wanted to do today is break that down a wee bit and explain it, and so that we can have these conversations in our homes and with our friends. But self-awareness for me is transformational, and it is the beginning stage. So self-awareness really is about understanding why those negative thoughts are in your head. So being able to say to yourself, what am I thinking? And understanding that thought. It's being able to hear the message, hear the language patterns that are coming into your head. It's being able to hold the feelings that those thoughts are creating and connect the two, connect the thought and connect the felt sense in your belly. Connect those two things and understanding what thoughts are driving these feelings. It's also then being able to take it a step further and being able to understand why you behave the way you behave. What feelings are driving that behaviour? And wouldn't that be an amazing thing to learn? Wouldn't that be an amazing skill to tap into? You can understand why you do what you do, why you feel the way you feel, and why you think the way you think. And not only why, but what is it? And then be able to test it for truth. So I hope you understand how it is the beginning of actual healing. How it is the beginning of actually living an authentic life. When you're connected to what's going on in your head, you're connected to what's going on in your tummy, and you're connected to why you do what you do. You see, because most of us just live in this reactive space where we're reacting and thought and feeling this stuff. We don't know why it is, we don't know what is happening to us, and we just live in fear that it's going to happen again, and we repeat that cycle day in and day out, and we never really live the fullness of our lives because we're afraid. We're afraid of this stuff, whatever it is, but we're not aware of what it is. So, let me show you how to become self-aware. It's a very basic skill. And you can start today And you can help your children become self-aware today. You can help your friends become self-aware today, this minute. So what is self-awareness? So self-awareness is just the ability to slow yourself down. When you have a negative thought, say, what is it? Because our natural default position is to run from it. Our natural default position is trying to get rid of it. And so what I'm asking you to do is the opposite. Ask yourself, what is this? What am I thinking? What is it saying? And maybe write it down. If you have a big difficult feeling, then just double check what thought is happening once this feeling's at play, or what situation caused that feeling. And once again, just jot it down. It's the most basic of principles. Why and what? What am I thinking? And where has that come from? Slow it down, and it's nearly like you have to do an about turn to yourself. Instead of going and fixing it and moving on the feeling or moving on the thought, just slow yourself down and ask yourself, what is going on in me? What thoughts are driving this feeling? Why am I experiencing these thoughts? What's outside me that I'm thinking about this stuff for? Or if you're in a behaviour, what feelings are driving this behaviour? What am I feeling at this moment? That is the beginning of self-awareness, and I promise you, it's transformational. I lived for so long in this space where I reacted out of every feeling that I had. I lived in this space, honest to God, where I didn't know why I felt the way I felt, why I thought the way I thought. And in fact, I just thought it was all crazy and these things were happening to me and not that they were coming from me. I never understood that the stuff that I was experiencing, the feelings that I had, the thoughts that I had were coming from inside me. And once I learned that, it was the beginning of true healing for me. You know, not just patching the stuff up, not just covering it with positive thoughts, not just covering it with positive affirmations, but really true transformational healing. And this skill does that for you. A wee word of warning. Don't start with the big stuff. When you learn self-awareness, it can be quite scary. And this happens in session, when I'm in one-to-one session with people. When people begin to hear actually how they think and feel, it scares them. So start with the small stuff. Start with the everyday feelings. Start with the annoyance. Start with just the small stuff. And keep yourself safe. Don't start with the big stuff. So try that out. Pass it on to your friends. Try it out with your children, see why they feel the way they feel, get them to connect to their, as I call it, their felt sense and their heads. Try to get them to understand why they do what they do. Try you to understand why you do what you do, and we'll begin this healing journey together. So before I go